Hi everyone. How are you doing today? In today's quick guide we have once again an all-rounder. It's not my fault if most of them are so cool. But this one is rather tricky to play. Today we'll talk about Aegislash. Aegislash is a unique Pokemon that has two different forms, an offensive and a defensive one. So, switching between the two correctly, you'll be able to survive through your enemy's moves and then counterattack, making this a very versatile Pokemon that can fight anyone. Aegislash also has a really easy time ripping through objectives, using his Unite move to secure your last hit with ease. Although a very good Aegislash player can be almost unstoppable, you won't be able to do anything if you don't understand how this one works. So a lot of practice is needed in order to play Aegislash properly. Aegislash has an okay early game with a really strong level 1, making it great at invading the enemy's jungle. The only problem is that he's very frail until you reach level 7 and get access to the shield form. You can play this Pokemon in lane, but I personally have more success when playing in the central area or invading the opponent's side. The only problem of playing in the central area is that it makes it harder for you to stack your attack weight, which is a strong item with this Pokemon. With that said, let's head to the practice area and take a look at what this Pokemon can do. Since the passive and the boosted attacks are directly related, I'll go over both of them together. You'll have two passives, you'll get the second one when you reach level 7 and evolve to Aegislash. The first one will give you this boosted attack with your moves. You can store up to 4 charges. Each time you attack, one of them will be consumed, giving you a hit that's stronger than the basic attack that also deals damage based on the target's maximum HP. Against wild Pokemons this bonus is capped at 1000. This is where most of your damage will come from and will help you take down even the strongest defender. Once you evolve to Aegislash, your passive will change. And now you can switch between the Sword and Shield stances based on the last move you used. When you switch your stance, your attack speed and movement speed will be increased by 15% by 3.5 seconds. While you're in the Sword stance, your attack and movement speed will be increased by 5%, while your attack speed will increase by 15%. This is the moment you're most vulnerable and capable of dealing the most amount of damage, so you usually want to be in Sword form when your enemies can't threaten you. Like when your opponents have their moves on cooldown or when you're fighting against a Pokemon that is not great at dealing damage. While in the Shield stance, your defenses will be increased by 20% and your attack speed is decreased by the same amount. This stance will also affect your boosted attack, making it stun your target for a short time while also healing you based on your attack stat. It also will decrease the cooldown of your moves that put in Sword stance by 1 second. As you can see, this one deals way less damage than the one you have in Sword stance and they can't deal critical damage. So, this is the stance you should be when you're taking the stronger hits. The Shield stance will help you a lot to survive against sudden bursts of damage while you wait to use your offensive move again. In teamfights or when you're facing a speedster, you should stay in this form while you wait for an opportunity to start your offense. And remember that you can also heal yourself as well. Now starting with your first move choice. You need to pick either Shadow Sneak or Iron Defense. I recommend starting with Shadow Sneak, since it's the only one that deals damage at this moment. It makes you dash towards any direction, dealing damage to whoever you hit in the way. After hitting this move, you'll get one boosted attack charge. Not only does this move deal a massive amount of damage this early, but it also helps you move around. This is the reason why Aegislash can invade the enemy's jungle at level 1. You can get to the other side faster and last hit the farm, and depending on which Pokemon you're facing, you can also easily win the fight. In lane is a great last hit as well, but be careful when you're facing multiple opponents since you're very frail before level 7. When you reach level 3, you'll get your other move, in this case it will be Iron Defense, which will protect you from one hit during 3 seconds. If you get hit during the time this move is active, you'll completely ignore the damage of that hit and will receive a boosted attack charge. This is a good defensive tool, but most of the time you'll be using it to get an additional boosted attack by blocking the first attack you see coming. If there's someone in the enemy team that has a move that only hits you once, you can protect yourself against that. Some of these moves are Urshifu's Wicked Blow, Pikachu and Mew's Electro Ball and Snorlax Tackle, for example. At level 5, you'll get to pick a sword move. Those being either Sacred Sword or Shadow Claw. Sacred Sword will make you attack twice. First you create this triangle-shaped area that deals some damage, afterwards you'll dash, hitting your enemies one more time. The triangle deals less damage than the slash, but it also stuns your enemies for a short time and gives you one boosted attack charge for each enemy you hit. You can't get more than 2 charges by hitting wild Pokémons, so the easiest way to get more than 2 charges is to hit both wild Pokémons and other players. After hitting the slash, you'll ignore 25% of your enemy's defenses for 3 seconds. When this move upgrades, your attack stat will be increased by 50 during 3 seconds after hitting with the triangle. I know this move has a rather long cooldown, but besides being one of the best options to give you boosted attacks, which are the source of most of your damage, it also has a huge range and can help you fight against tankier opponents because of its buffs once you land the move. The stun is nice as well, but is not unique to this move. Next we have our other move in this slot, which is Shadow Claw. This move will make you hit your enemies in the designated direction. The last hit deals more damage and will stun your targets. If you land any of these hits, you'll get one boosted attack charge. With this move you can only get one at a time. But the move itself can deal critical damage, based on your critical hit chance. When this move upgrades, your critical hit chance will be increased by 20% during 1 second after using the move, which will probably affect your next boosted attack if you're fast enough. Both of these moves receive their upgrades at level 11. So, this move has a short cooldown, but only gives you one boosted attack. Since this one can crit, it has the potential to deal more damage than Sacred Sword. But I personally think that the boosted attacks and buffs you get from Sacred Sword, paired with the dash, can outclass Shadow Claw a little bit. Keep in mind that Shadow Claw isn't a bad move at all, so feel free to try it out for yourself. At level 7 you evolve into Aegislash and get to pick a shield move. From this point forward, your stance will be defined by the last move you use. So after using a sword move, you'll switch into sword stance. The same goes for shield moves. Your choices here are Wide Guard and Iron Head. Wide Guard makes you unable to move during a short time. After you activate this move, you'll get a huge shield, one boosted attack charge, and will also push your enemies away, like a mini Snorlax block. Also, you'll get an additional boosted attack charge for each enemy that attacked you during this time. You can't get more than 2 charges here. At the end of this move you'll push enemies in front of you, everyone you hit will be slowed by 45% for 2 seconds. After that you'll get one more boosted attack charge, unless you miss this part of the move. If your shield is depleted while this move is still active, you'll also receive this extra boosted attack anyway. When this move upgrades, the cooldown will be reduced by 1 second. Okay, this move is actually very strong. It's probably Aegislash's strongest tool in teamfights. You not only can stun many opponents at a time for your team, but also, the shield you get from this move is massive. And remember that you'll be in shield stance, where your defenses are way higher, making it possible for you to get a lot of boosted attack charges. After that you can decide if you want to use them to recover health and decrease your cooldowns or just save them for the sword stance. And keep in mind that your enemies can't walk through you while this move is active. Our other shield move option is Iron Head. This move will start with a dash that deals some damage and gives you one boosted attack charge. After the dash, you'll get Iron Defense's effect. So, it will protect you from one incoming hit. This effect lasts for 3 seconds or until you block something. If you manage to block an attack, you'll get another boosted attack and this move's cooldown will be reduced by 3 seconds, making it easier to use this move again. When this move upgrades, your attack will be increased by 10% for 3 seconds if you successfully blocked an attack. Both moves receive their upgrades at level 13. Okay, here I need to say that I underestimated this move. The cooldown becomes so short if you manage to block attacks, that you can consistently get boosted attacks while moving around. Although things can get a bit tricky when you're fighting many enemies since you can only block one hit at a time, you can still try to move away with its dash and heal when possible with the boosted attacks. But when you're fighting 1 or 2 enemies, this move is just insane. Next we have Aegislash's Unite move. It attacks every enemy in a straight and very narrow line. This move deals additional damage based on the target's missing HP, so the lower their health, the higher the damage will be. And if you take down another player with this move, you'll get 2 boosted attacks. After using it, you switch into sword stance. You'll also get the Unite move bonuses, which gives you 30% of cooldown reduction, 30% more movement speed and a shield equal to 20% of your max HP. As you can see, this move is really hard to hit players that move around so much. You may have an easier time when using this from close range though. And you know what doesn't move around so much? Objectives. So with a huge bonus damage based on the missing HP, you can easily last hit anything, from Regis to Rayquaza. And remember that you can quickly shave off their health bar by yourself as well. Now that we know how this Pokémon works, let's take a look at some item choices that will work well with Aegislash. First, for the battle items. There are a couple of good choices you can pick. First, I don't think Potion is terrible here, especially if you're going to invade the other team's jungle. This will make sure you can KO their jungler, but besides this, I don't like Potion so much. X attack is a good item when used by Aegislash. It can increase your attack speed when you're going to spend your boosted attacks while providing some extra damage, helping you to quickly burst down the enemy team. X speed is just a great item, you can either use it to chase someone or run away. I also recommend running full heal here, so you can protect yourself from some powerful moves that may stop you when in sword stance. Also, this is a very important item to give you an advantage against Urshifu's Unite move and Sableye. Next, for the held items. I highly recommend running Razor Claw, it will give you more damage on your first boosted attack. Focus Band is a great choice to help you survive and is often enough to buy you some time so you can switch into shield stance and heal if needed. This item is especially useful in the early game. You won't have access to your shield stance yet, but your laning phase will be way easier and it's also a key item if you want to invade the jungle. Aegislash can utilize weakness policies buff like no one else. You can max out your weakness policy stacks while in shield form. This way you take less damage and will have stored your boosted attacks to take advantage of your increased attack. Next we have Muscle Band, which will add some extra damage to your boosted attacks. It gives you some attack speed as well. Attack weight is a good item here, since not only your damage, but your shields and healing are based on your attack stat. The only problem is that you'll need to score in order to get this item's benefits and this sometimes is not an easy task. Buddy Barrier can give you some more time to fight after using your Unite move while also aiding your allies as well. Scope Lens can work here too, but you'll get the most out of this item when you use Shadow Claw. Energy Amplifier will make it easier to last hit objectives and will give you some extra damage to quickly burst your targets. But I recommend having your boosted attacks ready when you Unite move if you're using this item. Some other options are Eos Cookie, it can give you some extra HP, but has the same downside as attack weight. Will make you tankier, but a Focus Band is a better option in my opinion. Rapid Fire Scarf is actually not great here, it's really hard to activate its effect to speed up your boosted attacks, since you need 4 basic attacks in order to trigger the attack speed increase. If you can get this item to work well here, please let me know you did it in the comments. Lastly, Score Shield. I don't recommend this one, but you can use it I guess. For the emblem choices I don't think there's a lot of options here. So my recommendations are the regular stuff you already play on your attack-based Pokémons. Brown and white emblems, while prioritizing increasing either your HP or attack. Or you can also try to increase your critical hit chance, regardless of the color you pick. But try to not decrease your attack if you can. Sadly, red emblems don't do very much to this Pokémon, so you'll be better off sticking to those options from before. And that's all for this guide. Aegislash was always a good Pokémon, staying a strong pick for a long time, and I don't know if you remember, but Aegislash was one of the few Pokémon played by the team that won the World Championship, so don't underestimate this one. I hope you enjoyed this quick guide. Also, if you want to see more guides like this, please consider subscribing, I would really appreciate having you around. And until next time.